At number 5, the Jonas Brothers. As we are all aware, Disney likes to keep their stars as clean as possible, so when they're caught being a little more adult and risque, that is definitely a problem for the company. This became Vanessa Hudgens' reality in 2007 after some of her private photos were leaked. Vanessa opened up about this scandal years later, saying that it was traumatic for her, having lost her privacy in that moment. It was also a big deal for Disney, who was trying to cover the story up and keep her image intact. Since she was one of the faces of the High School Musical franchise, it was important to the company to make this all go away. Joe Jonas even opened up about this time in Vanessa's life, saying that while he and his brothers were working for Disney at the time, he remembers the day the scandal broke and how the executives had Vanessa in their office for the whole day trying to deal with that mess. Joe even said that the other executives approached him and his brothers and praised them for not having had a scandal like this. This put a lot of pressure on the Jonas Brothers to always stay perfect in the eyes of the company. In a way, the Jonas Brothers warned us about Vanessa and her image. On one hand, the Joe Bros kind of exposed the lengths that people would go to give Vanessa the special treatment she required to get her out of this mess, and this special treatment could have impacted her ego, making her into who she is now. At number 4, Chrissy Teagan. In early 2020, when the world started ending, a lot of celebrities were voicing their thoughts and opinions on the global health crisis, and many of them faced backlash. From Madonna and her bathtub rant to Evangeline Lilly and her dismissal of the lockdown protocols, celebrities started facing backlash for their comments and actions, but the one celebrity who faced the most backlash in regards to their pandemic comments was actress Vanessa Hudgens. You might recall her comments about people passing away due to COVID and the backlash that ensued afterwards, but you might not recall who came to support her when she was being cancelled. Chrissy Teagan stepped up to defend the actress when she was getting torn to shreds online and in the news. In response to Vanessa being cancelled, Chrissy tweeted in her defense saying, quote, "Sometimes people, especially famous people, are gonna say some really stupid ish, and so are you, and they and you will learn from it, and hopefully their history says they're good. It's okay, and at the same time, wow, they had a really dumb moment. But you don't have to ruin their lives. This isn't about me this time, but it will be one day, or it'll be you. But yeah, today it's Vanessa. LOL, and no, life isn't ruined for everyone. But you are damn well trying your best. Just stop." Unquote. Chrissy also ended up facing some backlash for those comments because she was seen as defending the remarks that Vanessa made. This could have been a warning about Vanessa, but as we would later come to find out, Chrissy is a little problematic herself, so one problematic person supporting another could spell disaster. Before we carry on talking about Vanessa Hudgens and the people who warned us about her true colors, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 3, Austin Butler. When you love someone, you want to show it, and what's a better way of showing it than defacing a natural United States property? I'm kidding, but Vanessa Hudgens was not. While on a romantic getaway with then-boyfriend Austin Butler, the two etched their names surrounded by a heart into a rock in Sedona, Arizona, and Vanessa posted a picture of it to her Instagram. Come to find out a little while later that what they did was totally illegal, and they ratted on themselves with that post. Since being made aware of her illegal activity, she removed the post and was ordered to pay a $1,000 fine for damages, but the outcome could have been so much worse. The maximum fine for this offense is $5,000 and a 6-month jail sentence. In a way, Austin and Vanessa's actions could have been a warning about the actress's sense of entitlement. She didn't see anything wrong with defacing the rocks in Arizona and didn't really care about the consequences, and that sort of speaks volumes about the type of person someone is. If you don't care about how your actions affect others, then that can kind of make you a bad person. At number 2, Zac Efron. When you think about Vanessa Hudgens, most people would picture her in High School Musical carrying around that Disney vibe, but after learning about her dark side, you might change your thoughts about her. Basically, Vanessa has been known to often let her jealousy get the best of her, and oftentimes this leads to people getting their feelings hurt. Take for example this one time when a fan approached Vanessa's ex, Zac Efron. The couple were out shopping at a department store when a young fan went up to Zac to tell him how much she loved him. She was apparently super nervous and stumbling over her words, and so instead of being an understanding and respectful person, Vanessa butt in and started making fun of the young fan. She started laughing at the poor girl and humiliated her in front of her celebrity crush. Now, even though Zac didn't exactly do anything in this specific situation, he did bring out a side of Vanessa because she was showing a jealous side when someone other than her was getting Zac's attention. This could have been a warning about how she is in a relationship, seeming to be quite emotional and attached, but also serving as a warning of the type of person she is when she's not on set, showing that she's not afraid to be rude, even to the people who support her the most. And finally, at number 1, Selena Gomez. Back in 2012, Vanessa Hudgens and Selena Gomez seemed to have gotten into a feud over a Vanity Fair cover. See, at the time, they were promoting their film Spring Breakers, pictures, and so there was a lot of attention on them, but it seemed like Vanessa wanted that attention more than anything because she got really upset when she found out that Selena was getting the Vanity Fair cover and not her. She played it off like Selena was only getting the spotlight because of her relationship with Justin Bieber at the time. A source close to Vanessa told sources, quote, "Vanessa won't let it go. She feels absolutely furious, especially since she has a much bigger role in Spring Breakers than Selena does," end quote. This side of Vanessa certainly wasn't flattering because she was giving off such diva energy. In a way, her feuds with Selena was a warning about how seriously Vanessa takes her time in the spotlight and just how she isn't willing to share that fame.
First up, we have a celebrity stylist. A TikToker with the username I am Tahira decided to speak about the celebrity styling she did for some celebrities and rate which ones were the best and worst. In the video, Tahira gave Anna Kendrick a rating of -100 out of 10 and called her a terrible person. The comments flooded asking her to give more details about the interaction, so she decided to make 2 more videos. In the first video, she said that in 2016 she was working as a stylist and her job was to put together some looks for one of Kendrick's book signings, saying, quote, "She comes, I'm walking her through the rack, she won't speak to me, that's strike 1. I'm asking her, do you want to wear pants or do you want to wear a dress? She won't say anything." Then Kendrick's PR lady told her that if they wanted Anna to wear one of the looks, they would have to pay her $10,000. Since that was not a part of Tahira's job, she got the PR team to talk about it. In the end, Anna just ended up wearing her own clothes to the signing. But that's not all. Another part of her job was that she had to collect all the gifts that fans left her at the signing. So she collected fan mail, letters, gift cards, drawings, and paintings from Anna's fans. But at the end of the event, instead of taking all the products, Kendrick said that she never looks at that stuff and she told her publicist to trash it all. Apparently, years later, Kendrick came back to the store and worked with a different stylist. After that stylist was done with Kendrick, she went up to Tahira and told her that Kendrick got pissed at her because this stylist had no idea who Kendrick was. Next up, Blake Lively. Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick starred in the hit movie A Simple Favor together. So not only did they spend tons of time working together, they also had to be on the press tour with one another. Apparently that was a big issue for the women because they hated each other while filming the movie, and it was so bad that the studio executives had to get involved and mediate the tension between the women. In a TikTok, the page Celebrity Memoir Book Club claimed that when filming wrapped on the movie, Lively and Kendrick were not speaking, adding, quote, "They were basically enemies and their press tours had to be booked separately." The user said that they were not sure which actress was the one that started the feud because both women had been a part of feuds with their co-stars. Lively has previously feuded with Gossip Girl co-star Leighton Meester, while Kendrick is known for allegedly being disrespectful and rude to people ranging from waiters, bartenders, and fans. The TikToker was flooded with hate comments claiming that it wasn't true, even though the TikToker claimed that they had inside sources. As a clapback, the page shared a DM showing a studio executive at Lionsgate confirming basically everything the person had said. The DM read, quote, "They hated each other. The studio even had to have a talk with them about making it look like they liked each other on press tours because it was starting to get obvious. And in particular was really competitive with Blake and was constantly asking to make sure she got more promotion than Blake, and even made us Photoshop her cleavage in the Simple Favor poster to be as big or bigger than Blake's." So from this comment, it seems that Anna Kendrick might have been the reason for the feud. After news of this feud resurfaced, some fans looked back at their media interviews for A Simple Favor, and you can clearly see the tension. In one interview, Anna Kendrick mentioned the fact that she worked with Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively's husband, and she says that she once thought that Blake was really nice, but doesn't know now. It seems like a joke at first, but obviously could hint at the tension going on behind the scenes. Blake then jokingly goes to touch her arm, and Anna sharply responds, "Don't touch me," which seemed very real to me. Then the pair were talking about Instagram and if they block certain people, and it was revealed that at one point Anna Kendrick blocked Blake Lively on Instagram. Then later she decided to mute her instead once that became an option. That whole interaction seemed a little too real to believe it was all playful banter. This is definitely a strange one, but Anna Kendrick was rated the #1 most dangerous person to search for online in 2020 by security company McAfee. I didn't even know that they made lists like this, but somehow Kendrick made the top of this list, even though she's known for quirky and girl next door type roles. This study is done every year to let customers know the best way they can protect their data online. They research which famous names generate the riskiest search results that could potentially trigger consumers to unknowingly install malware on their devices. She was number 4 in 2019, but was bumped up to number 1 in 2020. The study assumed that was because of her role in Trolls World Tour. Kendrick first gained fame in 2008 through Twilight, then landed the lead role of Becca in Pitch Perfect and another in Up in the Air. Even though her roles are pretty tame, the security agency concluded that searching her name generated the most harmful links. Following Kendrick, the next most dangerous names are Sean Combs or P. Diddy, Blake Lively, and Mariah Carey. One executive at the company said, quote, "Cybercriminals use consumers' fascination with celebrity culture to drive unsuspecting fans to malicious websites that install malware on their devices, potentially putting personal information and login details in the wrong hands," adding that customers need to think twice before clicking. Barack Obama. Anna Kendrick found herself in a very strange situation when she ended up insulting the president and even called him an a-hole right to his face. Let me explain. Anna was on Stephen Colbert and explained the story behind how she met Barack Obama and made him double over with laughter during their meeting. During the conversation, Anna says that she was invited to a presidential event and showed up very early. Then during Obama's speech, he pointed her out personally and praised her for her movie Up in the Air. Afterward, when the two had a minute to chat, the president said he hoped that she hadn't felt singled out by him mentioning her movie. Quote, "I hope I didn't embarrass you earlier." Kendrick then responded, quote, "Yeah, you're such an a-hole." Then she mentioned that she was the first to arrive and that she was very punctual being from Maine. When Obama asked her if that was a thing, she replied, quote, "You don't know that? You're the president." That entire interaction then made the president double over with laughter, but who knows if he felt that it was very awkward. One of Anna Kendrick's breakout roles was a side character in the movie Twilight, and a very shady incident happened that the rumor mill has blamed on Kendrick. Before the second Twilight movie came out, called New Moon, a salon owner found a script to the upcoming movie in the trash outside her salon. The first question that was asked was, who would have thrown out a script as precious and as top secret as this? And does this mean that the person didn't like the movie? After further investigation, it was exposed that the script was found outside of a hotel near St. Louis where George Clooney and a bunch of other stars filming the movie Up in the Air were staying. Guess who is filming that movie and also filmed Twilight? None other than Anna Kendrick. Nobody is sure why she did it, but everyone can agree it was not a good look. But that was not all. Anna got in some more hot water when she trashed the filming of the movie. While speaking with Vanity Fair, she reflected on what it was like filming the movie, saying, quote, "The first movie we filmed in Portland, Oregon, and I just remember being so cold and miserable. And I just remember my Converse being completely soaked through and feeling like, you know, this is a really great group of people and I'm sure we would have been friends at a different time, but I want to kill everyone." She even got shadier when she later added, quote, "Although it was also kind of bonding, there was something about it that was like, you know, you go through like some trauma event. Like you imagine people who survived a hot situation and you're kind of bonded for life." First up, Ming-Na Wen. Scarlett has had a ton of controversial moments in her career, but I think this one easily got the most media coverage and pushback. When Steven Spielberg got the rights to remake a Japanese movie called Ghost in the Shell, he cast Johansson in the lead role. The role was called Major, a cyborg soldier with a human brain and a cybernetic body, who is the main character. Although the project was a huge hit in Asia and was expected to do similar numbers in North America, this casting decision led the movie to be a flop, because fans accused the movie of whitewashing. The public called on the studio to cast an Asian woman in the role instead of a white woman, since it was based on a Japanese character. Months later, Stephen Paul, a producer on the film, defended the decision to cast Johansson as Major, explaining to BuzzFeed News that Sanders' Ghost in the Shell adaptation takes place in an international world, adding that it isn't just a Japanese story and it does not just focus on Japan, rather the whole world. Johansson also did not back down when asked about the casting and stood by the decision. When talking about it with Mary Claire, she said, quote, "I never presumed to play another race. Diversity is important in Hollywood, and I would never want to feel like I was playing a character that was offensive." She then pivoted to talk about how amazing it is to have a woman heading a huge franchise like this. Johansson also defended the choice by stating that the character is a human brain inside of a machine body, making it identity-less. But Asian actors did not agree with Johansson's take and shared how disappointed they were in the casting choice. When the photo of Johansson in the film came out, Ming-Na Wen, who stars on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., tweeted, quote, "Nothing against Scarlett Johansson, in fact I'm a big fan, but everything against this whitewashing of Asian role." Many other actors shared similar sentiments about whitewashing the franchise. Harvey Weinstein. In 2017, the terrible actions of movie producer Harvey Weinstein were exposed to the public. and plenty of actresses came forward sharing their experiences working with him. Many shared that they had to perform sexual favors in exchange for roles. In light of all the terrible press surrounding Weinstein, many actresses boycotted Weinstein and his family, including his wife at the time, Georgina Chapman, who founded the clothing brand Marchesa. However, Scarlett did not boycott Marchesa, and instead she decided to show off the designer by wearing them at the Met Gala that year. Multiple actresses also came forward to share that Weinstein previously pressured and even threatened them to wear Marchesa to events, so many felt his wife was in cahoots with him. Many people question why Johansson, a supporter of both Me Too and Time's Up, decided to publicly support Chapman's designs. She explained herself in an interview with Entertainment Tonight, saying, quote, "I wore Marchesa because their clothes make women feel confident and beautiful. It's my pleasure to support a brand created by two incredibly talented and important female designers." Jamie Clayton. In 2018, Johansson had another casting blunder when she signed up to play the role of Dante Tex Gill, a trans man that operated a massage parlor business in the 70s, in the film Rub and Tug. The LGBTQ+ community and its allies argued that the role should have gone to a trans actor, not a cisgender woman, and said it contributed to trans erasure. Even with all the criticism, Johansson once again stood her ground and defended the casting. Mainly, she tried to take the blame off herself and put it onto other cis actors who had played trans characters in the past. Johansson told Bustle at the time, quote, "Tell them they can be directed to Jeffrey Tambor, Jared Leto, and Felicity Huffman's refs for comment. This is because Jeffrey Tambor played a trans woman on Transparent, Jared Leto was cast as a trans woman in Dallas Buyers Club, and Felicity Huffman took on a role as a trans woman in Trans America." However, since the backlash with the project did not stop, Johansson later decided to leave the project. Johansson went on to say she understood why people felt that Dante should be played by a trans actor, adding that she's grateful to participate in a controversial debate that sparked a larger conversation about diversity and representation in film. She said later that she mishandled the backlash. Trans actor Jamie Clayton shared their thoughts in a tweet, writing, quote, "Actors who are trans never even get to audition for anything other than trans characters. That's the real issue. We can't even get in the room. Cast actors who are trans as non-trans characters, I dare you." However, the drama with this casting did not end there, and Johansson said more controversial statements surrounding this topic a year later, saying that she should be able to play any character that she wants. Quote, "You know, as an actor, I should be allowed to play any person, or any tree, or any animal, because that is my job and the requirements of my job." Adding, quote, "Today there's a lot of emphasis and conversation about what acting is and who we want to see represent ourselves on screen. The question now is, what is acting anyway?" However, she later said that her controversial comments were taken out of context and it was edited for clickbait. She later clarified, saying, quote, "I personally feel that in an ideal world, any actor should be able to play anybody in art, and all forms should be immune to political correctness. That is the point I was making, albeit it didn't come across that way." Woody Allen. Another controversial take from Scarlett was her support of Woody Allen during his scandal, where he is accused of sexual misconduct by several women, including Dylan Farrow, who is the child of Mia Farrow, whom Allen married. After this, many women took Dylan Farrow's side and boycotted Allen. However, Scarlett was not one of them and actually defended Woody Allen. Johansson had worked with Allen on films like Match Point, Scoop, and Vicky Cristina Barcelona, and she said in 2019 that she would still work with him if the opportunity came up. After the allegations surfaced, Johansson said in an interview, quote, "I love Woody. I believe him and I would work with him anytime." Apparently she speaks with him often, and the pair have had many conversations about these allegations. She added, quote, "I've been very direct with him and he's very direct with me. He maintains his innocence and I believe him." This is not only very problematic but also hypocritical, because Scarlett publicly called out James Franco for supporting Time's Up before 5 women accused him of misconduct. Dylan Farrow also called out Scarlett on Twitter, quote, "If we've learned anything from the past 2 years is that you definitely should believe men who maintain their innocence without question. Scarlett has a long way to go in understanding the issues she claims to champion," referring to the actor's public support of Me Too and Time's Up. Months later, in her 2019 Vanity cover story, Johansson doubled down on her previous comments about Allen. Quote, "It's my experience, I don't know any more than any other person knows. I only have a close proximity with Woody. He's a friend of mine. I have no other insight other than my relationship with him." Continuing that she doesn't want to lie or edit herself, and she wants to openly share her opinions on the matter. Benedict Cumberbatch. Recently, Scarlett Johansson got tons of press after she decided to sue Disney over their Black Widow premiere. It's common for actors to get a portion of the box office numbers, but Scarlett felt she was not given a fair amount by Disney because they decided to premiere the movie at home on Disney Plus, as well as in theaters. which made the theater sum significantly smaller than usual. Fellow Disney star Benedict Cumberbatch reacted to the news, calling the ordeal, quote, a bit of a mess. During a wide-ranging profile with The Hollywood Reporter, Benedict Cumberbatch said he thought it was sad how the whole thing was unfolding. The lawsuit claims that Johansson lost untold potential revenue while Disney execs profited by growing the Disney Plus streaming services base at the same time. Disney fired back, calling the lawsuit sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the new state of the world due to lockdown measures. When asked about the legal turmoil with his co-star, Cumberbatch said, quote, "It's sad what's going on between the lawyers, but he said we need to put it in context of what's happening in the world right now," adding, quote, "The whole thing's just a bit of a mess. We're trying to understand what the revenue stream should be for artists to contribute to the billion-dollar business that is Disney, and it has to be contractualized." Many were surprised that he didn't all-out support Johansson like other stars had at the time. WandaVision star Emily Olsen called the move brave, and she fiercely defended Johansson's decision. Jennifer Lawrence. This is one we're not sure is a real feud or not, but sources claim that since Lauren and Johansson are both engaged and plan to wed in New York City, they're trying to upstage each other with their weddings. According to the outlet, Johansson and Lawrence have never liked each other, and the situation is getting worse now that they're both planning weddings in the New York area. The source said they definitely want to outshine each other on their big days, and it's assumed their weddings will take place shortly after one another's. Apparently, Johansson has always been a little envious of the roles that Jen's got over her, because Scarlett believes she's more talented than Jen. Apparently, Scarlett also doesn't like Jen's quirky personality and finds it annoying, adding, quote, "She feels Jennifer is a bit of a phony." The feud was taken up a notch when both women looked at the same venue for their wedding in the Hamptons, but they don't want to get married at the same place, so they are keeping serious tabs on one another.